We're talking E's Famously Single Season 2, so there might be a chance. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes. Oh, listen to the intro to this.
What up, AfterBuzz? It's your boy DJ Jesse Janedy here in studio for the Famously Single AfterBuzz TV After Show. I'm joined in studio by Miss Lina Noory.
Hey everyone, I'm Lina Noory. So glad to be back for another episode. You can find me on Instagram at Lina Noory and Twitter at Lina Noory_, and I'm loving Jesse's moves right now.
Girl, why are you so stiff? You get your shoulders out, let it shake, you know what I'm saying? We got a special guest in studio. You might have seen her last night on the episode. Yes. We have Justine DiVanna, who's also an AfterBuzz host here.
Yes, I'm an AfterBuzz host for the Kardashians After Show, so it's kind of ironic, but... yeah, I was yesterday and then the week before when we did the blind dates, the goggles on, so yeah.
So let's jump into it.
Yeah, we got some interesting stuff, right?
So how did you get involved with the show?
So I was actually online and I get these random emails and it was for, I guess I signed up for a dating app a long time ago. It's so random, right? So I signed up for a dating app and then I randomly got this email saying, oh, Famously Single is looking for... girls for episode or whatever. So I literally was like, oh, cool, okay, I'll try. I'll literally just apply, and then I applied, and yeah, I got to do it. But it wasn't I went out of my way to find it. It just kind of happened from accidentally signing up for a dating app.
It was meant to be. You see that?
Yes.
You're gonna give us all the tea now. That's why he was meant to do it. So okay, so was there a screening process once they picked you? Did you have to go down, answer questions? How did that kind of...
Yeah, well, they are filming. They were doing Famously Single, and they were also casting for Millionaire Matchmaker, which I'm also on. Don't even ask. That's another story. But
someone's trying to get married.
Okay.
Yeah, I am not, I was saying, I am not trying to be a reality star, but this just happened where I did that, and then from that audition, also, they asked me to do Millionaire Matchmaker. So when I did the audition, it was just chill, one-on-one, we talked and they filmed and they just asked different questions. And it's funny, they asked who my celebrity crush was and I said Bradley Cooper, and somehow I ended up with Chad, so I don't know how that happened, but it was kind of funny because it was just completely an opposite person.
Well, which is interesting because you guys seemed like you hit it off. You guys were laughing or...
Well, there's so much they didn't show.
I mean, yeah, because
that date was, I would say, half hour to 45 minutes. It was long. Really? And, well, if you want to start, do you want to go back to the blind dates? Because that was first.
Yeah, blind dates.
Well, before you go to the blind dates, did you actually know that you were going to do the cycle thing with Chad? Or did you have no idea but you knew what the TV show was? I
knew what the TV show was, but I didn't know. We were not supposed to know who the cast was, but we ended up finding out who the cast was because, I don't know, we're nosy and we figured it out. But you really couldn't see through the goggles. You couldn't see. If you moved them, from the corner, you could see a little, but, that would be obvious that we're trying to look. So, you really couldn't see. So it was funny because I really did forget I was on camera. A part of me knew I was, but when you don't see, you get so involved with conversations that, you kind of forget. So they... did not show my one-on-ones with the blind dates with David and God, I always forget his name. Callum. Yeah, I always say Callum. They didn't show that, and we were just talking about they were just getting sexual with everyone. I heard their conversations throughout the whole thing, and they were just doing it. So me, I was oh my God, I felt special, and then I watched. I was okay, no, they didn't pick me, so they picked my girl Whitney, who's also really awesome, but. Yeah, that entire thing was interesting. They made it seem like the girls and the guys were there together, right?
Right.
No, so they filmed... We had no idea we were going to be blindfolded until literally a half hour before. Okay, the producers said you're blindfolded. They didn't tell us. It was weird. So we went downstairs and it was the guys first, and then the girls came 2 hours after, and then they did it. So they made it look like Karina was looking over when we were talking. That wasn't like that, no.
That's crazy.
What? Yeah, they came an hour after. The girls got to go on their blind dates after.
Even the Malika and Ronny scene made it seem like Ronny was listening into Malika with her date. And
Yeah.
then she's like, oh, I was trying to get a glimpse or like listen to Ronnie's date, but obviously that's crazy.
Well, that was for the actual one-on-ones.
Oh yeah.
so
that
the
way-
one-on-ones were at the same time.
Yeah, for like a second, because I had no idea what was going on with the house. Like, I had no idea that Karina and Chad had anything. So when I walked in, you could see Karina in the background, but then they left. So it was like just me and him the whole time. But
Okay.
they made it seem like, yeah.
Huh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So the blind dates, we went through all of them, and then so they showed me with Ronny because I'm from New Jersey, so I think that they kind of like showed like, because they couldn't just show me with Chad, so they showed me with Ronny, which was whatever. He was so like quiet and chill
Really?
and boring, to be honest with you. Yeah, like our conversation was really boring.
Yeah, see, for me, what he's giving me on this season, like, I always thought I would like Ronny.
Yeah.
On this show, I'm just kind of like, he kind of comes off a little douchish.
Yeah.
Like, a little into himself, I guess. That's where I'm more so saying it.
I mean, I don't know. I think he was just really boring. The other two British guys, that's what I call them. They were really fun, and I think they have that charm, you know, because they're
Like, David seems like he could never actually be in a serious relationship.
like
at
even,
all.
and I always thought Chad would be the one, but I think David even more and Callum are just.
I feel like Ronnie just met Malika and he's just set. He's like, I've got my girl and I'm done.
Well, it
and
was
so,
like the comfortability thing.
yeah, so I feel like he wasn't even giving the dates like any kind of effort, but then it was ironic because in the episode he's telling Malika, oh, I think we need to go through like the motions and actually learn about ourselves and go on these other dates.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, but you went on a date, the girl was stunning. Was she Miss USA?
No,
And-
she wasn't.
She
They
wasn't,
were
but he
just
was-
like, oh, she's so pretty. Like, he was like, oh,
okay.
she looks like Miss USA. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just kind of like, it can kind of go back and forth because I see what he's saying. Because it's like, you don't really know Malika, and she doesn't really know Ronny. So it's kind of right now, if you guys know you like each other, I would personally say the safest thing to do would be to keep it cute in the house. They've already stepped past that. But it would be to keep it cute in the house and do the dates with other people. So that way when you guys are out of the house without cameras in your face, you guys can actually work towards something versus them half-ass doing it. Because if you're going to do the exercises, then do the exercises with each other.
And Malika was just like not about it when I watched them. I was like, I don't know, like she's annoying me this season. Like I always liked her in the Kardashians, and she just seems really bitchy. I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting.
No, yeah, we are definitely seeing a different side than I've ever seen off of her. But I do wonder if it's like, you know, she talks about she likes the unavailable men and where that's going to stem from, I guess, you know.
But she literally has barely known him for what, like a couple episodes, and
Well,
she,
a week, they said today, they said that was a week time.
yeah. So in a week she's known him. She's like, you're having intellectual conversations with somebody else outside of our relationship, and you need to go outside of our relationship. She said relationship like 4 times. I'm like, you guys have been seeing each other for a week. That's not even considered a relationship. It's on a TV show. It's not even real. It's not real life.
Yeah.
Like, take it back a couple steps. She was like that detention teacher that's like, no, you're gonna write, I will never do this again on the board 50 times.
It's almost like
dude,
she
chill.
puts herself in situations and attacks them before they do it because she thinks that they're going to do it.
It just doesn't make sense though, because like
That was deep.
You know?
Deep. I'm gonna give you that.
I was just watching it, and it just seemed like, yeah, the relationship was just confusing because they were saying relationship, and they just. The show, I don't understand it. I feel like they put them together and it's just obvious that even if they don't work, which I hear that none of them work, it's because they're in a house cooped up, and then it's kind of like, oh, I like them because you're just stuck in this house.
Yep.
So you just end up thinking you like them, because think about it, at the past 2 seasons, everyone like likes each other in the house, and it's like they're not giving everything else an opportunity.
Yep. And I feel like someone like more so Malika than Ronny, but I feel like Malika, it's kind of like a safe option of like, you ain't gonna catch me on TV going on a date with a plumber. I'm gonna be on TV with another celebrity. Like, it's almost like a stature kind of thing. I feel why she kind of grasped to him.
And also, they come from similar backgrounds. I know Malika, you know, she was on Dash Dolls, and she was kind of one of the leads on their Kardashians, just kind of always done like cameos. So they come from like similar backgrounds. But it's so funny at the very end when they're on that one-on-one date, Ronny kind of looks over and goes, So I know we like each other, but let's try to get to know each other. They know like nothing about each other, only what they think they know about each other
It's lust.
based off TV. It's lust, and it's also looking for a connection to fill some kind of a void that's missing, and it's sad because there's, I'm sure, lots of great potential out there for them.
Well, for anybody that watches the Kardashians, do you guys watch the Kardashians? Well, Chloe at one point, I don't remember exactly what she said, but when I was doing the after show this season, she was talking about Malika and Ronny and brought the show in and basically was like, yeah, you know, I guess they didn't work out, so there's nothing good to say about Ronny. Like, she should basically be embarrassed
Really?
for dating Ronny. Yeah, something like that. Don't
Wow.
quote, like, I really don't remember exactly
But I
what she said.
totally agree, because honestly, I kind of felt like when Malika was doing it, it was kind of like, because you know, like, no, if it was Vinny, you know, I'd be like, okay,
I know, I
he
like
seems
Vinny.
like a little more of like a, I don't know. But the Ronny thing, it was just kind of like, girl, you're running out here with a wild horse.
I mean,
like-
the Jersey Shore is all of them. It's just the way the show's portrayed. Because people could say the same thing about the Kardashians. People that hate them would be like, "You're dating Kardashian." Like,
Yeah.
ew. They could say the same thing. I mean, I'm from New Jersey, so I love the show and stuff. So it's like I liked that show, and I really Ronny was definitely, I really liked him on the show. But
But
he
the
just was
difference
really
between the two
boring.
is at least the Kardashians live a certain stature and
Yeah,
lifestyle,
and they're
Whereas like
relevant.
Ronny was relevant for one show,
Yeah.
and then out of all of the people in Jersey Shore, I don't think he's really like branded himself outside of
Like,
it
at all.
So to me, that's where the disconnect comes from Malika, because I would think she goes after these basketball players. So in my mind, it was like, okay, did you go after Ronny because you're tired of that Hollywood lifestyle and you kind of want just like a regular guy, but he kind of gets it because he was a part of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but honey, that ain't what she's showing me. I don't know what is in Malika's coffee, because
So let's strip away the fact that they're both reality TV stars. In a normal relationship, after a week, if a girl or a guy, whatever it is that you're in a relationship with, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, after a week starts going, this relationship, in a relationship.
It's weird.
I can't believe you. No, you didn't. Like, that's
I actually
insane.
can't say anything because now, I mean, me and Chad
I'm
didn't work out,
fine.
but I have a boyfriend, and we literally like a few days in, we're kind of acting like that. We're like still together. It hasn't been that long, but it's kind of funny because I always make fun of those situations. But like me and him were like that very, very soon. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So
you were the crazy chick from day one?
no. He was more like that than I was.
really,
Yeah, but it wasn't crazy. It was more. It wasn't. It was just like we were into each other, like very
checking
fast.
each other, and you're paying attention to each other and kind of
Yeah.
wanting the best for each one person.
Well, we never were like, we didn't do what they did, meaning like we got feelings fast, but we weren't crazy.
In her defense, real quick, because I feel bad for calling her crazy, it's on TV. They're going to script what they want us to see. And then also, too,
Yeah.
on top of that, they're thinking everyone else is watching this. So she has that, like, ego. You know, we talked about how they both have that ego. And so on top of the fact that they feel betrayed, or I can't believe he's, like, interested in other girls, she's like, everybody around the world
Yeah.
is watching that while I'm here putting my heart out, and after day one making out with him in bed, he's now interested in like dating other girls. So I can also see that part. So I would like to say that I can understand where she's coming from, but
Right,
still
like
doesn't
the
change
Jersey
it.
Shore guy dumped you, like.
I mean, it's all cut and paste. Like I said, they made it seem like at the speed dating that they were looking, like when they'd look over. It's so funny because I had never seen Karina, and that's what I watched. I was like, oh my god, they're making it look like they were listening. And remember, they had Malika look over when he was talking to.
With
It was one of us
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
talking to, and then she looked over like, what? I think it was me. We were talking about from Jersey, and she just like went like that, and I was like, she wasn't even there for that. But
That's
yeah,
so funny.
the dating
The
thing
power
lasted
of
like
editing.
right. The dating
Really,
lasted
though?
maybe like a
Phase
half
2?
hour. No, the blind dates were like a half hour each. Like they were long.
did you guys actually like the blind dates? But then on the one-on-ones, did you guys like eat like for real? Like was it like actual like like an actual date, or was it more of like?
Yeah, they brought like food, but you're so invested in, you know, like the camera's there, you don't want to be like stuffing your face, you're also like talking to him, so like they really cut out so much. Like I think they cut out a lot because it wasn't a lot of drama. Like we had real conversations. Like we really talked about him on The Bachelor and how they portrayed him, and how, because he was completely different in real life. Like, he was really nice and really, really cool. So I left, like, that date, honestly, he was, like, I liked him. Like, I mean, I didn't know him.
Oh, she liked him.
I was into him. He was really cute. He was really attractive. But so we didn't know who we were going to go on the date with. They let us know. They're like, tonight, they're going to let us know who they pick. And there was one girl that didn't get picked. The girl Whitney got 2. And then Crystal got with Ronny, and then Chad picked me. And so they're like, we're not gonna know until like tomorrow morning. So I wake up and they're like, you got picked, but we can't tell you. And I was like, I knew it was Chad. I was like, I know it, not because of a connection, but because I usually attract crazy guys. And I was like, oh, of course it's the guy from The Bachelor that's the villain. The crazy one picks me. Like, it's just I was not surprised. But he was completely different. Like, completely different.
You were super forward on that date, though. Remember, she just sat down and like immediately like touching hands.
Yeah, because
hey, girl.
Because he's not like that. Like, so the other two are very like touchy feely, and he's not. So I was just like, I don't know, like, that's just how I am. So I was like, maybe pull him out of his comfort zone. You never know.
Was he the first one you went on the blind dates? Was he the first one you sat with?
No, it was David, and then Callum. And then Ronny, and then him. I think he was the last.
Oh, really?
I think. I don't know. He wasn't the first, though. That's all I know. But it's really funny hearing him after saying, I'm cool and all this, because I was like, I didn't hear any of that until after we didn't work out. So it's just kind of funny. Like, this was in November. We filmed in November. And
yeah, they did hold on to this for a while.
And he asked for her phone number.
Yeah.
And I was
in a very weird way too.
It was so awkward.
It seemed like he almost seems like he doesn't know how to speak to girls.
No, it was weird. Like, he was like sweating. He was like really hot. He seemed like nervous. Not because I'm saying like me, but he just seemed like the situation. He was nervous, and he was so. I think it was boring to the people to watch. Like, that's why they probably didn't put it, because we had normal conversations. Like, it wasn't dramatic. We had real conversations. And yeah, I'm surprised they didn't play up the phone number thing. Like, I'm surprised. I really thought they were gonna play that up, because especially they were talking about, how do you ask for someone's number? Like, do you do that? And then he asked for my number, and I was surprised they didn't play it up. But yeah, he was just like, so they cut out. He like looked over. He's like, so like, can I like get her number? Like, what do I do? And they're like, yeah, okay, well, sit down and get up and then like re-ask her.
Oh, so it's not natural. So in the guy's defense, I mean, the whole world is watching you ask a chick out.
After you've been allowed permission.
But
and we're all here judging like Jesse.
But they didn't tell us what to talk about. We talked about what we wanted to. The cameras were really, really far, so you kind of like had your space, and we talked about whatever we wanted to. But he was really cool, so anybody wondering about the Chad, he was really, really cool. I think that the TV scripts it, but then he's a problem drinking. Like, he basically told me that's when he kind of acts up, is when him drinking. So
that cocky mouth of his.
Yeah, he has a drinking problem, I think. I'm not going to diagnose him. Okay, we're not getting into that. But
yeah, let's talk about some people with drinking problems. All right, so before we get into the one-on-one dates, let's talk about. So Chad and Karina went on their own with the hot yoga date, which was a very
awkward date.
But you know what? These are the kind of things. Now I get why, like, Blind Date and all those shows back in the day put people in crazy situations, because it takes you so much out of your comfort zone that it's like how he said, well, this is precious. Like, because what else are you gonna do? Like, we're doing hot yoga. Like, you're in between my balls. Like, hey.
You know what the irony of that situation is it's kind of a forward first date, I feel like, because it's very touchy-feely and all the different positions that they cut to show us. So I thought it was kind of ironic that when he wanted to talk to her at the end of the date, she was like, no, don't get in my bed. Well, you're laying in bed, you live in the same house. I honestly thought he was just trying to have a conversation with her. I didn't get the impression at all that Chad was trying to, like, get into her pants. But it's like, the show just showed that you guys had this very hot, steamy date, and she's very like, I saw a different side to you, and thank you so much for opening up. And then you're like, no, don't sit in the same bed as me. Like, and he's like, what's wrong with the bed? You're in the bed.
From your experience, you're saying out of all the guys that you went on the date with, he was the least, like, not sexual, but least touchy,
like engaging.
Like,
him and
in
Ronny.
that sense, like hitting on you, like, in a grotesque way or inappropriate.
Him and Ronny were like the same. Like, it was funny. The other two were like held everyone's hands, and then they were all like,
So yeah, he doesn't seem like the type that's gonna be extremely forward.
I'm just surprised by them two. It's not like I'm jealous or anything. I just genuinely, she's not the kind of girl that I see him going for. I don't know. It was just, I was really surprised when I heard they had a thing, because she just seems very well and put together. And usually, like, I don't know, like, yeah, that makes me
like
sound
she would
bad.
date someone that's like Trump.
No, I feel like
Why
she
Trump?
would date. Yeah, wait.
Just an older man who, like, not that, you know what I'm saying? Not like to make her sound like an escort, but like an older man who, like, has, you know, maybe even been married before, but he knows how he wants to treat her. Like, like he said, it seems like she wants to be treated like this 1940s, like. So it's kind of like, I feel like she needs an older man who has money and is going to take care of things the way that she likes them to be taken care of.
She likes them to be like. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Good.
I think she likes to be like, she wants a gentleman. I think that Chad is more, he's not like that, and like, not in a mean way, but he's more, I don't know, kind of modern and not like bringing the girl flowers and doing this, doing that. So, I don't know. Them two confuse me.
Yeah.
I've always been pro Karina, you know, all season long. I've said that, like, I can relate to her, but honestly, I don't think she's a 1940s girl. I think she puts that front up, that she's very like conservative and old school, but she still has that like massive ego. I feel like a guy that is set in his ways, that doesn't play games, wouldn't put up with her, because she does play games.
Yeah,
she gives mixed signals. It's like she wants one thing and she wants it her way, and there's rules and regulations. That's just not natural. I feel like anybody that is set in their ways, that doesn't have an ego, very present, would not put up with that.
A guy would never stay if I did that. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, a guy would never stay.
Would
They'd
run,
be like,
run
exactly.
clear.
So maybe it's because of the show, the circumstances. Because think about it, like, it never works. Besides, Pauly D and
Aubrey,
they're still together, right?
Yeah, but what I was telling someone yesterday, I heard through a pretty
Tell us.
good source, actually, that they're very surprised because Aubrey be calling and crying and talking about how he mentally abuses her and all that. And from what I heard, they saw firsthand that he probably may not be treating Aubrey that good, and she's kind of one of those girls that just kind of sits in toxic relationships.
That's so
my
sad.
God.
And I was like, really, girl? It took you, well, did it take her a few years to get out of Danity Kane? Me either.
Like, at all.
But the source that told me,
situation
I was
would.
like,
The situation would. I don't know about.
Well, anybody living in this lifestyle, they have to deal with a certain amount of pressure and judgment, so they're not necessarily, I would say, all there. Like, even Karina, just one thing to give in her defense for, like, her don't sit in the bed, she's always so concerned with what everybody thinks. So in
Yeah,
her head,
that's
she's
true.
like, I'm on this show with millions of people watching, and this
don't
guy's
want-
jumping into my bed, and I don't want to be that girl. But
and who knows how they're gonna edit it?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Chad was in the room. Like, yeah.
like, how do they edit Tiffany? How do they edit Malika and Ronny?
Tiffany is the coolest person. I'm just letting you guys know. She is so cool. Like, she is the nicest, most down-to-earth person. I mean, I could get into that later, because, like, me and, like, I will go back to the house at one point. That's a whole other story. I have no idea how they're gonna edit that, but
Uh-oh.
nothing bad happened.
What's it called? Funny stories. We're gonna get New York in over on BlackHollywoodLive.com for the show called This Week Next Thursday.
The cup is backwards, I think.
Next Thursday.
Oh, really?
Next Thursday.
She's coming into the studio?
Into the studio, so I'm gonna talk and try to get her to come in on here.
I
'Cause I'm just
live
like,
for her.
I just think that's so hilarious that, like, Chad won't do it, but she'll come in. Oh, I don't know if we try to get Chad in, everybody.
He too grand to come on into our studio. Hey, Chad.
Yeah, because I texted him about it, and he was just so weird. I think he has a girlfriend now. I've looked at his Facebook or his Instagram. And I think he
She's
has
been
a-
creeping.
Yeah, since the show came out, I was like, oh shit, what has this guy been up to? So we tried to get him in, but
Well,
he
that's
wasn't
fine. So we
having it.
just talk about you. All right. So then we saw when Liquor started getting involved, because he was kind of over the whole Karina thing. And I'm sorry, girl. It's just a little too needy for me too. New York starts hitting on Chad. And
I think that was for fun.
yeah, and I think that just the commenter of her enjoying getting her protein, like, I was just like, why is this happening right now?
I think the producers were like, just go have fun. Because they do add a little of that in those situations.
They are cute, like in that, it's more of a friend kind of a.
I just would love to ask her, so I really hope we do get her in studio. I love her personality. I love that she has no filter. But she said in the second episode to Dr. Darcy about how she's always labeled as that girl from the TV show,
But
and
it's
how
because she genuinely is. She reminds me of my friend Queen, who's from New York, like to a T. Like, would come out her mouth, talk, like, be on camera, burping, you know what I mean? Like, she just don't care. Because it's New York. That's a New Yorker. They just don't care. We're loud, we're boisterous, we don't, you know what I'm saying? And she's just someone who, they pulled her from that, and because that's what, gained her attention, she's not thinking about the actions of those blunt comments that she makes until after the fact. When she watches back, she's like, dang, yeah, I might have, I probably shouldn't have said I love sucking dick. I probably just said it on the show, but I do. I love sucking dicks. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why people don't hate her, because, like, I feel like, girl, I like sucking dick too. But I ain't out here running around like, yeah, I love putting it on my face, and like, ooh, when it's thick, ooh, and like, oh. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's levels to it. And I think that's what it is. She's watching it back, and she's like, oh my God, like, this isn't who I am. And it's like, well, girl, actually.
Welcome to the Messy Jessie show.
It is. I'm just saying,
She
that's
probably
real
puts
shit.
up a little front because she's on TV. She's like, I gotta be entertaining.
Well, and she's also the type of person, because I'm this type of person, if I'm in a room with people and I think, all right, we need to spice this on up, my personality going to go up tier, because it's like, all right, everyone, wake on up.
But I feel like with her, she said that on the episode. She's saying to Dr. Darcy, I want to, like, break out of that barrier, or, like, that stereotype that people have about me. And then she goes, and every other word is sexual. Like, it made Chad uncomfortable.
Like, that's irrelevancy, though.
How real is the therapy session? First of all, it's this Dr. Darcy who's, like, on a reality show. And it's just, I don't know. I just think the whole, like, therapy thing is so weird. I could never have a real therapy session with cameras. I just know me. I've had therapy before, and that would just be so awkward to me.
I love Dr. Darcy, though.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, no
really
hate,
cool.
but I just don't know how real it is.
I feel like it's real for some of them, because from the first season, I got different stories. There were some people who were like, nah, that shit was fake beyond anything, like, I couldn't stand the bitch. And then I heard from other ones like, no, like, I really pulled some. Even with Bad Girls Club, they used to have a therapist in there, and I got the same story. I think it's just like, you don't go on to this show to, like, release, like, you know what I mean, like, in-depth certain things, but it's kind of like, all right, I have a problem with relationships. Maybe it stems from my father, maybe it stems from a childhood thing, like, I don't know. So I think it's about going on to these shows and kind of having an idea of being an adult, actually. That's really what it stems. I think with going on any reality show, when you go on these shows, you have to understand you're an adult. You can't really forget that the cameras are there.
Yeah.
Well, you go to a therapist assuming that you're going to confide in somebody that's not going to judge you, that doesn't know anything about you, and it's kind of an outlet just expressing your emotions, but you're expressing it to the whole world or whoever's watching the TV show. And no matter what, they're going to script you a certain way, and they're going to judge you. That's why when it was like, where did Colum go?
He didn't want to talk.
He didn't want to talk. If it was a real therapy session, he would have talked. He would have been open about it, like, hey, I had to go. I need to go get a drink. But no, he didn't talk about it.
They would have made him have that conversation, too. But they didn't.
Do you think they're scripting them in a certain way? No. I feel like the therapy sessions are the therapy sessions. They're not scripting certain words out.
I really thought I thought it would be more scripted. Honestly.
No, I think
but they didn't tell you what to say at all.
Really?
That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's more like producers, like, kind of hyping you up for the scene, and then you go into the scene.
It really depends. Like, when I did the one-on-one and then the speed dating and all that, they didn't tell us what to say at all. But when I go back to the house and, like, I don't know if it's even gonna air, but I end up going back, like, a few days later, just for a party. Like, it wasn't, like, this big deal. But they made it seem like, oh, Chad wanted you to be there, and then, like, he ended up being in a hot tub with another girl. I'm giving you guys a little sneak preview. He ended up being in the hot tub with another girl, and so they would, like, I was having fun. I was dancing with, I love New York. Like, we were having a genuinely good time. And I was like, I'm not going to go bother him. And then they'd be like, Justine, come here. And they'd be like, the producers really want you to go talk to Chad. And it would make it seem like Chad asked about you earlier. I was like, no, he didn't. He's
in a hot tub with another chick. He didn't ask about me.
Yeah, he does not care. So I was like, if he wants to talk to me, he can come talk to me. But I'm not going to go talk to him. And who knows if it'll air because it's not drama, but I know they wanted me to go. I'm like, he's in the hot tub with a girl and they wanted me to go talk to him.
I predict they're gonna
And you
script
better
her
came
as
out
the.
looking like the crazy girl.
I was just gonna say that they're gonna script her as the crazy girl. They're gonna show her like peek in the corner. And she's gonna be dancing with Tiffany. Watch, she's gonna be dancing with Tiffany, looking over her shoulder. They're gonna make it seem like she's looking at him in the hot tub. How much do you want to bet? She's gonna be
Wait,
the
no,
cool
let
girl.
me. Okay, so the way that it's set up, he was downstairs. I was upstairs most of the time. So the way that it was so weird. It was like the entire ceiling was lights like that. Like, you guys can't see, but obviously they're like these big lights. And basically the ceiling was all lights and like microphones, and you could only have the music like a little tiny bit, and it was so open. It was like a studio. It was the weirdest thing. Like, you walk and then the hot tub is just like dead center in the middle, and there's like nothing around.
This
and
is where they're living.
Yes, and it was just so weird. It was just so open, and the whole thing was like studio. So I was upstairs a lot of the time. I saw him maybe for like a second. He came up to me and said hi, and then he went back downstairs.
I've got it. I've got the whole storyline. The doorbell's gonna ring, and they're gonna be like, "Who is that?" And then someone's gonna peek through. They're gonna go, "It's the crazy girl from the speed date. She found out where Chad lives, and she's here to stalk." And they're gonna show her like creeping around, like trying to see what Chad's doing.
And
mean-
then New York's like, I'll date her.
Who knows? I don't know. It wasn't interesting though. Like, nothing. Maybe you never know how they can cut it, but nothing happened. I didn't give them what they wanted, so I ended up leaving.
Did you look over your shoulder at all? Because you gave them what they wanted. They're gonna have you looking over your
I don't
shoulder
know.
and staring at Chad.
That was November, and like it was
Makes
just
you
a
go
very weird situation. It was a very weird. So maybe they will. I don't know, but it's not like I'm glad I didn't go, like make a fool of myself and go up. Like I'm really glad about that. But it really messes with your head, the whole thing, because the producers, and I can't even imagine being on the show fully. Like, I went there for a day, and the way they feed it, like, oh, Chad, like, was asking about you and did this, and go talk to them, and
So
then
imagine what they're saying to Karina. And like,
yeah, and they make you feel like shit almost. Like, they make you feel like, oh, he was into you, and then he's in the hot tub, and they're just like, oh, I don't know, and it makes you feel like crap a little. So I ended up leaving feeling like, why do I even feel like crap? Like, I don't even like this guy. But they, like, it's a little manipulative.
Really?
So it's weird. They don't tell you what to say, but I guess in those situations, like, the dating is like sit down, date, and talk. But the other one where everyone's partying, they could try to make you go talk to whatever. But for the most part, they just let you do whatever.
Interesting.
So yeah, I didn't even tell you though. After our date, yeah, he texted me the next day.
Oh my God.
He's like, "Hey, it's Chad," smiley face and whatever. And then he was like, "What are you up to?" And then I was working, and I work at the Mac in Beverly Hills where Dorothy Wang comes into. By the way, it's a little other side of the side, but. He wanted to know what I was doing, and then he was like, I'm gonna see if you can come over tonight because I'll talk to the producers because I can basically do whatever I want. And then we never talked again.
He can do what he wants.
Yeah, like it never. I was like, okay, cool. Never talked again.
Wait, have you ever talked to Dorothy?
No, so I didn't do her makeup. One of the girls that works there does her makeup. So I see her. I talked to her for like a second. Like I told her, I was like, oh, her name's Sharon, the girl that does her makeup. I was like, I work at Beverly Hills. And she's like, oh, I do Sharon, whatever. Like Sharon does my makeup. But then right when the promo came out in April, what was this for? Chad texted me, hey. And I was just like, what did I say? I don't even know if I responded, honestly. It was just very strange. The whole thing was weird. So, yeah.
So the speed dating doesn't work.
No.
Moral of the story.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be sketched out to do something like that. What did you guys think about the David and Dorothy? Like, that seems so produced and forced.
Yeah.
The date. Like, it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
why are we here?
But I feel like because they don't have rules and expectations, they were genuinely having a good time.
I think she put up with it. I think he... No, I don't even think they really had a good time. I think that they were
Really?
yeah.
Yeah,
I think they both were like,
seemed
I mean, for
weird.
what it is, they're like, okay, we're here, and I guess I'm making the best out of the experience. But like Dorothy was probably like, I could be home. Right?
I really think the producers were like, all right, guys, we spice things up. You guys are going to go on a date.
You guys are real fun. Everyone will love you. They'll think this is so funny, and I can just imagine because David gonna go wherever they tell him to.
And a little insider about David and Callum, the girl Whitney that got the date with both of them, like Callum was texting her. I think, is that how you say his name? Callum.
Yep.
Texting her a lot, like for days, like, hey babe, good morning, like, how's your day? Like,
Really?
texting.
He made it seem like, oh, I'm not gonna go after a girl that my friend already went on a date on.
Yeah, he was like, hey babe, like, I'm gonna see if you
wanted to
can
win.
come over, blah, 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 blah. Like, like texting her a lot. That's what was really weird. He texted her like, hey babe, like, I miss you, like, really weird. So it's like funny.
You know what it is for Callum? This is like the Hunger Games, and he's in season 2.
Yep.
He's come back with vengeance. He knows how to work the system. Like, I believe there's like a whole big system on how they like pit sides and like set people up. Like you said, they wanted to set up David and Dorothy because they knew it'd be funny. I mean, there was zero chemistry. David was like, oh, you're gonna end up with like a nerd, and she's like, yeah, like, so funny. So I feel like he's back, Hunger Games 2, and he's like,
He's on the
I'm
hunt.
gonna win. So to us, he's like, oh, I would never talk to a girl that my friend talked to, and then boom, he's
Now
texting
you
her.
texting.
Yep.
Are we gonna see Rich at this party? Is it Rich?
Yeah.
Rich, the tall black guy.
No, we don't. You don't see him. But how funny is that he got 3 dates? 3. That
you
would
know
make
the
me feel
funniest?
really good about myself if 3 people picked me.
The funniest. Who do you guys think he had the best chemistry with? I thought Malika, honestly. Like, I thought she genuinely was like.
Really?
I don't know.
Watch it back and watch how her face is with everybody. Just period. How she interacts with people.
But
in the
was
house.
it for show? What, did she want
don't-
Ronny to see it?
No, I don't. I mean, maybe I don't. I didn't get that. I got like it was a genuine like oh. Like,
I just thought it was weird. The whole like she wasn't even giving anything chance. She's like, I am dreading tonight, and then it was just I don't know. Like, you're on a show, have fun. Like,
Why
I
else
would
are you
be
on here?
excited about it. Like, why are you not excited? You're on a show and get this amazing opportunity to do all these cool things.
I just feel like she's not the kind of girl that would see a guy and be like, oh my god, you look like a supermodel. Like, I feel like that was so intentional. That wasn't like genuine.
like a mean girl thing. Like, oh, I love your bracelet. But I really don't. Like, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, like it's like
your
she wanted,
cheekbones. You wish you could be a model.
like she wanted to make Ronny jealous. Maybe she saw how beautiful that girl was. Actually, she said the male dates were first, and then the female.
Yeah. So they didn't see us really. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I mean, I think what's so funny is I remember Karina looking over, but then they left. Like, it was literally a second she was there. So what's so funny is I had no idea that there was anything going on in the house. Like, they don't tell us. So it's so funny that they set them up, and he probably knew she was there, and she was looking over. And then, like I said, they were there for like a second, and then they left. Because the way that they film, I think they don't want like sounds in the background and stuff. So the way that they set it up, it's just really funny how she like looked over, and I didn't even like take a second look. I thought she was like looking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea. It's really crazy.
the magic of editing.
Can you imagine
now.
how mad? Like, oh my god.
She wanted to go
everyone-
slam your face in a salad.
And it's
Oh,
and
the
she-
balsamic.
And Karina actually makes an effort to not look a certain way, and even with the effort of trying not to, she still gets scripted as like the crazy girl that's like,
She says kind of like weird things.
Yeah.
Like, Chad's gonna go talk to another girl, blah blah. Like, you've known him a week.
And you're holding hands with a man at the table that you don't know, and he's talking. He wants to show you dance moves, like. And you was just at hot yoga with Chad, girl. You've been the same Easter basket.
yeah, like, come on, you can't like. She's just being really hypocritical.
Yep. All right. So we see after the dates, Ronny texts Malika 2 paragraph text messages, saying that maybe they should be dating other people. And I just thought it was hilarious.
That was
Dorothy and Malika were talking about it, and then he walks in. Dorothy goes, "Oh wow, look, we're all here now."
I thought that
no
was
shame.
I love it.
You would think the way when he said those 2 big paragraphs, you would think then, oh, he means, he had a good time on the date. Like, if I was her, I would think, oh my God, he had a really good time on the date. He wants to see other people, blah, blah, blah. But it's funny because they didn't even get each other's number. The girl, Crystal and Ronny, they never got each other's number.
No, I think Ronny is being genuine. Like, he probably wants to work something out with Malika. He knows he has trust issues, and I think he's just a little doo-doo-doo. Like, and I think that's where he's like, yeah, like, maybe... Because what I think the situation between the two of them is, have you ever really liked somebody, right? And they like you back, but... you or even maybe them, one person like is in 90% and the other person is in like a 75%, and you can feel that. And with some people you can, you can balance it out, but with other people it's just kind of like after a week and a half or 2 weeks go by and it's like they still have 70%. you know, leave that at 70%. I think Ronny's someone who's like, okay, me and Malika connected really quickly, which is something he acknowledges. That's what he's done a lot in the past. But they're still kind of bumping. Like, they're having a lustful moment, but they're arguing like they've been together for years. And that's, those are two things that don't go to, like, when you're in lust with somebody, you're not arguing. Because every day it's like, hey, babe, come over.
Yeah, but then stuff comes out a year later.
I feel like they're 5 years in and they're like arguing over getting married. And then he's playing games and she's playing games. It's like, you guys just met like a week ago.
Right, like if you already like, we should see other people, then y'all just need to see other people and be done with it.
I think we should see other people. It's been a week.
It's been a week. This is too much for me.
I've noticed that every episode, someone takes the torch for being the therapist. So last week it was Tiffany. And then this week for sure it's Dorothy. Because she sat there and she was trying to ask Ronny, like, so are you telling me you want to go on a date with somebody else? Like, she was asking very simple questions.
But it was good. She pulled out. She said he's the one with trust issues. And I definitely believe that.
And then in the car between Karina and Chad, she's like, I've never met two people that have communicated less in my life. That was like the best scene. And I'm like, how is Dorothy single? She's the only one. I mean, yeah, she makes those funny comments that you're kind of like, okay, really? But really, when you break her down, she's... No?
I can imagine.
She's probably a lot to handle.
Yeah. Like, I can imagine somebody like, what the fuck are you doing? Like...
No soup for you.
Does anybody else... I just have to add this in. Like, does anybody else wonder why David and Callum are on the show? I personally still have no idea who they are.
I understand why Callum why they brought him back, because after his first season.
How is he famous, though? I don't get it.
I mean, I don't... Apparently,
He's a TV personality.
Yeah, and David is famous on Instagram for taking nude photos.
What?
Literally, I knew of David before the show as a famous bodybuilder. Like, he's known in like the modeling world and as that from like London. But like, I'm like, out of everyone you could have pulled that. And then Callum, I guess he's an actor in London. I don't know.
Listen, he is Hunger Games round 2.
But I don't know why they brought David on the show, because I mean, just having any therapist that sits down with David is gonna know we ain't fixing this.
It's basically reality fame, because like Chad was on The Bachelor, and now they're like, he's a celebrity. I'm like, wait, what? Like, how did this even all happen?
I feel like David's here to offset the balance. There's too many serious people on the show. Like, serious problems, serious ego, and then you just have David.
Yeah.
You need like an actual player just to be on the show.
Yeah, he's just having a good time. Yeah, you don't get past the surface, but at least he's not giving people ultimatums after a week, leaving the show, or talking about inappropriate stuff every 5 seconds.
I connected with him the most. It's really funny, David.
Really? No, he seems like, honestly,
Like-
if you could take the sex away...
Yeah, I was really, like, I wasn't like, I'm surprised, but I was like, this guy is either too good to be true, and holding everyone's hands, talking the way, and looking back.
She just liked the accent. That's all it was.
No,
because she couldn't see anything, so she liked the accent.
Look how he's engaged. He's like,
yes.
That woman's talking about shit. I don't even remember what it was. She's like, I'm a nurse and I just studied something technical. He's like, oh yeah, he don't
like
give
Chad
a
and
fuck.
Ronny just were like. Yeah, like I had to steer the conversation with both of them. I had to do the conversation on the one-on-one and the blind dates. Like, I literally, even with Chad, so I was like, I had to do it. But then they were equally engaged. They were fun. Like, so I was just like, shit, I thought it was, I really had a good time with David. So it's kind of funny that Chad's like, oh, I really connected with Justine. And I'm like, I really connected with David.
He just wanted to toss her over his shoulder and throw her in the bus.
Yeah.
Like the girls from was it Universal City Walk, right, that they went to?
Oh yeah.
Where they were like pulling the girls to like take them on the bus.
All right, so at the very end, we got like this Runyon Canyon picnic date with Ronny and Malika.
Don't even get me started.
Really, the only thing I would say I pulled from this was that I appreciated her saying, I'm not trying to bring up my past, which how do you guys feel about this? When people are like, don't bring up your past relationships with new partners. I disagree with that. I think if I'm going to learn about you and you're going to learn about me, you need to hear the shit I've been through, and I need to hear the shit you've been through.
Because you don't want to you want to know if they're like the person you dated,
right?
So you don't repeat yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to talk about it like in a growth aspect for them to see like how you've evolved. Like maybe they might be like, you dated him or you dated her. Like, how did you get to here? And I feel like every relationship you kind of take a little bit and learn from it.
Yeah.
But what you don't want to do is take your baggage with you, which is what I feel like Malika does. She says she doesn't want to talk about the past, but I feel like she's taking that baggage with her. Otherwise,
okay,
why else would you get crazy after a week?
Well, and she said it, literally says it, and I think this is a very real statement. I've gone through this feeling. She said, I'm actually not scared of you. She said, but because of that, now I'm afraid that I'm going to lose that could go away. And I think that's something, just after you've been hurt, you've dealt with so many fuckboys after a while. It's like, honestly, like, I get to that situation. It's just like, I don't even want to sit and have a conversation with you because, what, you're going to probably be a cool guy, just like all the fuckboys were cool guys. You know what I mean? Loved everything about their life, but they're a fuckboy. So now I'm going to sit down here, we're going to have our tea and crumpets, and then what's going to happen after this? I'm going to text you 4 days later, and it's going to be what? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of like, wow, I don't even want to go through the emotions. I don't want to bring my heart back out. I think that's where Malika is. But at the same time, you're on this show. You need to get fucking healed, girl. And we need to pull it together, boo-boo, because you out on a date with Ronny from the Jersey Shore. Like,
I think there's a big difference, though, between
What?
you and her. You seem like you would not take all your baggage from your past relationships and blame it on the new guy. You might be a little bit more hesitant. You might be a little bit more guarded. It might be a little bit harder for the guy to break through on a date with you because you do see through all that. But I don't feel like week one, you're going to be like, we're in a relationship. Let me go through your phone. Who are you talking to? Like, if a guy came to you and said, listen, like, I care about you, but I'm working on myself. Let's work on ourselves together. You would love that.
Yeah, 100%.
She's like, oh, you're talking to somebody else? How dare you? You can't speak to people anymore?
How old do we think Malika is? Is she in her late 20s or early 30s?
No, I
I
would.
have no idea.
Should we Google that? real
Yeah,
quick?
I'm just curious as to that because that's also kind of plays into it. Ronny, I'm assuming, is early 30s, Jersey Shore. I would say Malika's probably, because Chloe's how old? Do we know Chloe's mid 30s?
33?
Yeah, I would
Which is
say
crazy that Courtney's like in her almost 40s.
Courtney is.
Well, she's like
Oh, yeah.
38. Like, it's crazy. She looks so young.
Has Kim in her 30s yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Chloe's younger, so.
Oh.
Like 95 Malika's came up. I'm trying to find this real quick.
Well,
She is 34 years old. Chloe
Oh,
is 33.
you too old for
Ronny
that,
is 31. 3 years younger than her.
we too old to be hanging on to these kind of things. Like, and you have a therapist. Like, I can't. I can't accept that. So hopefully by the end of this, we get it together.
So Malika's a cougar. Get it, girl.
Yeah. All right. Next week, it looks like they're going to set each other up on dates.
With like
which
random people?
I don't know.
At like a bar or something.
They're gonna set Dorothy up with like some businessman. Or like
Or the
David with the
bartender.
teacher, yeah.
They should just set her up with the bartender. To really take her out. Callum versus David. That looks like it could be interesting. A fight, physical fight. And then Chad versus Karina. I think this is gonna be the split. And then if this party comes, clearly he already in a hot tub with another girl.
Yep.
I'm excited to see what happens with Callum because I feel like we don't know anything about this guy and everything's a front.
And he was sitting over there talking, David's my brother, I love him.
And the apology he gave, like that was so scripted, like not by the show, but he came into that meeting like, I just want to genuinely apologize. You were acting a fool like the night before and you disappeared.
Yeah.
Now you want to genuinely
Yup.
apologize?
That's a man who knows how to play the game. Well, we want to know what you guys think, so make sure you guys leave us a comment down below. Let us know what your favorite date was, who the biggest hot mess was, and all that jazz. You guys can keep in contact with us at AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms. Keep in contact with me at DJ Jesse J.
And I'm Lina Noory. You can find me on Instagram at Lina Noory and Twitter at Lina Noory __. And I'm so excited to be here. And then we've got Justine.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It's such a good time. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Let's Face It 33 and on Instagram at Let's Face It with Justine. I do makeup and I do all that fun stuff. So yeah, if you're interested in that, follow me there.
And let's hope she's not scripted as the crazy girl next week.
And if I am, just know I'm not. I mean, a little bit, but not really.
Well, Justine, thank you for coming in. Make sure you guys go hit her up, go get in her DMs, and find out all the tea on Chad.
All
I'm
the
sure she
tea.
got all that too. All right, thank you guys for watching. Until next week, same time, same place. Peace.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.